talking to the MEC of Human Settlement in the Free State, TODAY Toto Makume, concerning to the tender that was advertised by the department, whereby they are going to be building 2,000 houses. MEC, welcome to Free State Central News.
Let me pass my greetings to your viewers and to yourselves, interviewers. Thank you very much.
MEC, about this tender that whereby you are going to be building 2,000 houses, there was a concern raised by opposition that the requirements, they are not giving an opportunity for those who are still new in the business, and the tender was only provided to one person. As the department, your reaction to this, and maybe to provide us with more information so that we can be able to understand?
Thank you very much, Ntate team. Let me just be upfront that the executive authority does not have the responsibility that they played in relation to tenders. That will be tantamount to interference. The PMFA exclude the executive authorities, but in a nutshell, the executive authorities, they deal with policies and also budget injunctions. So part of the budget injunctions I made in April was that we need to finish the incomplete houses. These incomplete houses were houses that were left not being finished, and in the main by some of the upcoming and emerging businesses. So the tender that you have seen now, it was made purposefully to ensure that at least we finish the houses that are not finished. So this will mean that you will need a contractor with financial muscles that will be able to execute and finalize the work. It was not an easy decision for the administration to take. They were caught up between the hard place and the rock. I also had my personal difficulties, but fortunately, policy dictates that I won't be able to enter into the fray and make an opinion that may sway the tender process. The tender process, the responsibility solely of the administration. But let me be assuring the community of the Free State that I was taken into confidence about how the department officials wants to go about, and I bought into that. So partly I'm aware and I'm taking full responsibility of what they are trying to do. I also need to make mention here that this does not necessarily mean that we are trying to close the black companies or the small emerging businesses outside. The part of the process of this tender is that whoever that will be awarded the tender is expected to give shares to the emerging so that there should not be any particular financial difficulties. So that's where we are now.
Yes. Let's come to the issue of capacity, because it's given into a single contractor. How is this going to unfold? Because we see that the number is 2,000 houses. We've got 5 districts. How is it going to unfold?
Okay, the procurement plan that was presented to me is that all or almost all districts will be covered. I'm just not in a position to tell you the areas now in each and every district that they will be covered, but I don't mind like sharing with you immediately after this conversation. But it is expected of the main contractor to give capacity to the emerging companies. Let me just remind the community of the Free State that the human settlement, most challenges started in 2010. In 2010, when small emerging businesses were given advance in a form of being bought materials and all those things, majority of them did not finish these projects. And this is the problem we are seated with. So we are just trying to correct the mess that started in 2010. You will also remember that there are also investigations in relation to those incomplete houses, because money has been spent, but money does not talk to the value of the of the project, and beneficiaries are still without houses. So they have not yet been humanly settled. Now, the intention here is that you have someone with financial muscles so that they should not expect government to give them an advance to start with the work. When people apply to build houses, they commit themselves that they've got financial muscles. They even send the bank statement. But later on, after the awarding of tenders, they come back to government and say, man, Toto Makume, we've got a problem. Can you please assist us with finances? So the reason why we went for grade 9 specifically is just to correct the mess. It is not necessarily aiming at actually empowering already those who have been empowered. That is why 90% of those houses are the houses that needs to be completed. With the BNG and other things, we are still making awards. During the Women's Month, we gave women, whom for the first time it was their opportunity to build houses. They were awarded 100 houses. The intention is that after they finish 100,000, 100 houses, they need to be given another share, because it is clear from government that women must get 40% of the work that needs to be done. So even with this project, women are still going to benefit. Then young people, there's also a policy that says the young people must be empowered. So whoever that is going to take this tender, they are aware of the fact that young people, people living with disabilities, and women, those who have contractors and those who show interest, and those with abilities and capabilities who can work so that we finish these houses and house our people, they will be given an opportunity to do so. But the reality of the matter is that for now, we wanted people with financial masses, people with resource, people with experience, who will just start from where these people have left the incomplete houses to finish them. I visited the areas of... Okay, thank you. I will stop.
And can you also provide us with maybe clarity in terms of this? This was not for the first time we see this project being advertised. What happened with the previous one, and why was it advertised for the second time?
Okay. The projects that were advertised are different from these ones that you have seen now. There were projects that were advertised. We had to stop them because somehow, the process was compromised. And then once it was compromised, we then asked the DBSA to advise us. So from where I'm seated, I'm still awaiting the advice from the DBSA, because they've taken some of the work that they were given to become an agent in between us and our beneficiaries, and between us and the contractors. So a lot of things just happened in that process. It was even before I became the MEC. But having arrived under that particular challenge, we have therefore resolved to come up with a solution. And the solution has been that let the DBSA advise us on how we move forward. But these ones are part of the houses that we have made injunctions in April, that we will complete 3,790 houses in this financial year. So this is what we are trying to do. You will be aware, I think by now, that as Free State, we have not been building houses for far too long. Some will tell you that in other areas, I wanted to tell you that I visited South Bank. They said the last time they were actually building houses, it was in 2010. You go all around the taking place. So the reason is that this current financial year, and that's the only, all black business companies are only thing to us. We had a very complex situation. Hence, I compared it with a person seated between the hard place and the rock. That's where the department was. But now we prioritize our people to have houses. We understand the element of business and the element of transformation But what was key for us was for those who did not, or for those who were, other people were moved from their yard, other people were placed in some of the resorts. You go to Nwate, there are people who are still living in a resort in Nwate. They were told that their houses will be built and only foundation was installed. So these are some of the areas that we are trying to attend to.
MEC, I think I just want to get in there, MEC. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes. MEC, coming to because I can hear that you are rectifying previous mistakes. What's going to happen with the asbestos issue as the department? How far are you with it?
Okay. I'm from a meeting now. We just and the DBSA. They were also given this issue to coordinate. What I can tell you is that there are two processes. Ours is going to be different from other provinces for just one main reason, that millions were spent in this project and not even a single asbestos was removed. So it means a lot of money was spent just only on assessing where do we have asbestos and where we don't have. Let me just be practical from the area that I'm coming from, because it will make it easier for me to explain this thing. Most of the areas that have asbestos are older areas that came before the democratic dispensation. For instance, in Metsimaholo, Zamdela, you'll only found that there are only 2 wards that are going to be affected. And in those 2 wards, it will be certain sections that are going to be affected. I will make an example. In Zamdela, where I was born and bred, you only found that the asbestos is only in that section. And then the other sections like your Taylor Park, the Khutsaneng, and what, they don't have asbestos because they were built with new kind of the roof system. In Prutema, the same thing is an old Prutema that is experiencing asbestos. Other areas, asbestos has been removed, particularly with the hostel project that have taken place in those areas. You will remember that there were hostels that were in Zamdela as we get into your left-hand side in Ward 12 and removed. Now, the issue we are seated with, that is why I was saying we are doing it different. The issue that we are seated with is which houses do they still have asbestos? So the department and the DBSA, they have already started. One mistake that they did was not to consult ward councillors and ward committees. And I've said they must start afresh to do exactly that. To ensure that ward councillors and ward committees are informed properly about the process that we're going to take. One of the process is to validate, not to pilot. In the papers, it appears as a pilot. Pilot is when you start something new. We are not starting something new. Here we are just validating those that still have asbestos and those without asbestos. This is what we are going to do. In the next coming 2 weeks, I can guarantee you the MEC will be launching and also ensuring that asbestos are being removed throughout the Free State. This is the project. It's a national project which, although we have lost money, but our national minister was so sincere that he talked to the treasury to give us another money to ensure that at least we remove asbestos, because there is a case in court, which for us, it's a consequence management strategy to ensure that we get the money back. But in the meantime, our people should live in a healthy lifestyle. That healthy lifestyle, it means asbestos needs to be removed.
In 2 minutes, MEC, your last words.
I'm happy about what you guys are doing, number one, to ensure that we communicate properly the information, because it will cause some confusion as and when it is not being corrected. But number two, I'm encouraging the people of the Free State. Look, particularly with housing, there is a lot of corruption that is taking place. I just want to call upon the Free State citizens and the community not to participate in corrupt activities. I will just make an example. If Toto Makume is going to ask for 10% for a house to be built, I can just rest assure you now that the quality of that house is going to be compromised, that the workers who are going to work in building of that house, they are also not going to be paid appropriate, but that the workers are going to pay themselves. They are going to steal from the project, take the cement, take everything, and start to sell it to ordinary members of the society. Members of the society, they are going to buy it, knowing exactly that Toto Makume does not have a company that sells cement, but Toto Makume is just an employee in a contract that is building houses. So I'm saying to them, they must report such so that we build qualitative houses. We build houses that they will be ensuring the community a quality house, a quality life that we have promised our people. But thanks very much, and thanks for your effort to make us do.
Before I let you go, let us talk about how far are you with the question of title deeds in the province?
Title deeds are already being issued out. Tomorrow in Metsimaholo, we are issuing out 2,000 title deeds. All what we have said to municipalities, they should not wait for the Premier or the MEC to come and visit and start to issue out these title deeds. So we are just launching the bigger one, but all municipalities, I'm already from other areas. In Sopan, we issue out 200 plus title deeds. In Bloemfontein, we have already told the mayor and the team that they must also issue out title deeds. All mayors are aware that the issue of title deeds is not with us anymore, but it is with the municipalities and their communities. So communities must make the loudest noise to ask their ward councillors about where to get their title deeds. There also have been challenges in relation to those title deeds. Some of the title deeds is double packing. Double packing in the sense that you'll find that myself and yourself were sharing a stand of one title deed. So it's something that we need to correct. And this will tell you that either there was an intentional mistake because there was a intended collaboration between the employees of the departments, municipalities, and those who wanted to get the title deeds in wrong ways. But title deeds are just an issue of yesterday because they are being issued out. We are targeting to issue as many as possible. In an area where I'm not available, councillors, the mayor, they must. So every week where we have bigger areas, councillors are expected to issue out title deeds, but also give explanation where title deeds are not being issued. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. We also like to apologize for poor connection there and there, but the majority of the information we could provide to you.